Hello and welcome to APMA Podcast. I'm back with another episode for you lovely people. Hope you're doing well. Get your Christmas shopping done because it's not creeping up on us anymore. It's literally staring us right in the face. I've heard the first rendition of Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You and now I'm fucked off. So, Christmas is now ruined. I'm joking. Well, it's minor. It's a minor thing for a lot of people. But for me, I don't like some Christmas music, and unfortunately, that Mariah Carey song drives me to the point of rage, which almost to the point where you're like, you have an issue that shouldn't annoy you that much, but it does. All right, but I hope everyone's having a good day. I don't want to bring it down straight away. I hope you're, traveling in safe to work. I hope you're travelling safe. I hope you're keeping your both hands on the steering wheel. Don't grab that gear lever too much. If you're driving an automatic, I literally don't understand how anyone has an accident in an automatic, other than getting T-boned, right? But if you have an accident in an automatic, a push bike is the thing for you. All right. I don't know why I just had a complete fucking decided to come on and do a podcast and just completely have a go at automatic drivers. But do you know what I mean? It's just not the same. It's not the same. And we will be talking about cars to a certain degree in this podcast today. But yeah, Christmas nearly upon us. I hope you get everything you need to get for people, there's those members of the family that you kind of you accept socially that you should get them something, but deep down, I say deep down, just under the surface of your skin, you're seething that you have to get them something because they mean nothing to you. They really do. That's Christmas. It's the spirit of giving to people who either don't deserve it or you don't really like. And that's the spirit of Christmas. That is what Jesus would have wanted from the get-go. When he turned water into wine, he didn't want to drink the wine. He didn't want to give the wine to the people who were there. He knew one of them was going to fuck him over, and it did. When he was providing the food for the people, he's like, I don't want to do this. This is actually really fucking up my Sunday. But yeah, I can turn water into wine. And the thing is, going back, if we're going to take the notion that Jesus did all the things he did, let's just go with that story. I can imagine that being really fucking taxing after a while. When I say a while, a few days. Or when someone sees you turn water into wine, because they know you can do it, regardless of the methods that you use or the power it takes, they just almost expect it now. So, this bloke can turn water into wine, so he's a legend. He can just do it, so he'll just do it every time. And when he doesn't do it once, we'll put him on a fucking cross. We'll crucify the twat. I don't know if that's exactly how the story went, with how he became basically impaled on a cross, but that's my rendition of the story. Anyway, Jesus died for our sins, so we need to buy gifts for people who we don't like. And that is one of the 10 commandments, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, you've always got that person in the family. If you're especially unlucky, you got several of them. That's the way it is. You just got to deal with it. Get everything on Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Get your deals in. Some people re-gift. I know people who re-gift stuff. They're very, very savvy. And penny pinching, which, for this scenario, I'm all for. But yeah, I hope you're having a good experience shopping, because if you're female, I feel like, and this is a generalization, shocking, innit? It's sort of, you don't expect that from me. If you're a female, I feel like the chances of you getting really stuck into Christmas shopping and almost wanting to do it, it's like an event. You're ready for the challenge. You're up for it. Almost like it's part of the tradition that you enjoy, is going out there, lining up in the queues, in the shops that are just completely overrun with people trying to grab the same shit as you, taking shit from other people's trolleys and fucking baskets. That's happened. It still does happen. It still does happen. That makes sense. It still does happen. I've seen it, you know, when I worked in, well, I still work in retail, but I don't work in a retail business that operates over the Christmas period, thankfully. When I worked at Tesco, there's people just taking stuff from people's trolleys. Like, if this is a tip for anyone who goes physically shopping in the Christmas period. Anywhere from, like, I'd say the 15th onwards of December until Christmas, watch your fucking shit. When you're in the aisles, right? And if you leave your trolley to the side, being courteous to other people, not to block the aisles. If you leave your trolley and you've got stuff in there that might not necessarily be in stock on the shelves, watch that shit, because people will take it. 100%. People just don't give a shit. It will be taken. 100%. So watch your back. It's a tough world out there. And Black Friday and Cyber Monday, they're completely different kettles of fish. Cyber Monday is mostly online stuff. To be honest, Black Friday is as well. But when you're going into the shop, it's a different ball game. Different ball game. You've got to have your elbows out, ready to, you know, quick throat punch, defend yourself. But I feel like there's a mad section of females who love that shit. As a man, and I feel like I speak for most males here, a mouthpiece for the males, I cannot explain in English or any other language to a degree where you would understand how fucking tiresome and how every measure would be taken in my mind to avoid doing that. I would feign injury, feign illness. I'd probably, if I'm driven that far, you know, I'd probably just go missing. It's horrible. I hate it. I don't even like shopping at the best of times, you know, in the middle of the summer. You know, there's nothing going on. There's no holiday. England aren't playing in a World Cup or what's the other one, the Euros. There's none of that shit going on. Just a normal week, and you're going shopping. I hate it. I don't like going shopping physically. I think it's just a male thing. I think there are other males that probably enjoy it, and, you know, that's good for them, I suppose. But for me, as I said, as a mouthpiece for the males out there, we all hate it. So don't drag us along. Please don't do it. An outcry. We suffer in silence most of the time. Now, you'll say to us, do you want to come shopping? And we'll say yes, sometimes, because we feel like that's what you'd want us to say. But what we're really saying is, fuck no, please don't ask me again. As you know, I feel like this might be widespread knowledge already, but that is how we feel. I can assure you, I've never been more right on public opinion, public male opinion. I've never been more right. I'm not wrong. So just, if you want to go yourself. Don't drag us to hell with you. All right? Anyway, now my pleas out of the way for all the, basically, you got to think of men sometimes. Some people describe this society that we live in as a patriarchy. It's definitely not a Christmas. 100%. Anyway, enough about the patriarchy and that. Jesus Christ, where are we going for this fucking podcast? Fucking 13 minutes-ish in, and I'm talking about patriarchy. So there's a few stories I want to talk about today. Well, couple mainly. We'll see if we've got time for the third and fourth one. Bit late to this, but better late than never, I guess. Now, I don't know if anyone watching or listening knows of a brand of car called Jaguar. Very famous, synonymous with Britain as being like, you know, when you think of Britain and automobiles, you think Jaguar. Because, you know, if you drive a Jag, you're a very distinguished person. But I feel like the Jag drivers, well, let's be honest, are dying out. Because it's a legacy brand that a lot of people don't have enough money to buy a Jag anyway, and it's been a very much a nostalgic brand for older, let's say, boomers. It's a kind of a nostalgic brand. So they needed to mix things up at Jaguar. They realised that they weren't going to be able to continue the trajectory that they were going on without basically filing for bankruptcy, I imagine, is the thought process behind this. So they decided to do a rebrand. And I don't know if you've seen the rebrand, but personally, as someone who didn't really have an affinity with Jaguar and has no real interest in Jaguar, I look at the rebrand and I feel like this is, in my opinion, shite. That's my critique, my knowledgeable, experience-ridden critique. I don't know if you heard that, but it sounds like there's a riverboat, as most boats would be placed on, just casually steaming past my house. Don't know if you could hear that. But anyway, Jaguar, they've changed their logo, they've changed their branding, they're catering to a completely different audience now. And it's one of the worst rebrands I've ever seen in my life. Like, this could turn out to be new Coke. It's that bad, in my opinion. So I'll take you through a little bit of what they've released in terms of the logo and the direction they want to go. What strikes me is really baffling is that Jaguar have done this without having a car to show off. Like, usually if you rebrand and then you have a product straight away to basically vindicate the entire reason of having the rebrand. Is like, oh, we're shifting gears. That's a fucking car pun. Rate that. We're shifting gears and we're going to now go to a different audience. Here's a new product that, you know, gets across our values as a brand, gets across all the new artwork and the familiarity you should have with where we are going forward. Jaguar don't have that. They just said, oh, fuck the boomers, up Gen Z, up multiculturalism, up multicolored shit, and here's a new logo without a Jaguar on it. And then everyone's like, well, where's the cars? And they're like, that's secondary. How dare you ask us where cars are? Do you not see that we have an array of different cultures on display in our advert? You fucking bigot. Well, it'd be interesting to see, you know, as a car company who manufacture cars, it would be interesting to see how you think the rebrand is going to be applied in new vehicles. But anyway, I'll stop talking shit and just show you the pictures because they just speak for themselves. I have seen people like the new rebrand, but I'm telling you now, this rebrand is, in my opinion, will not unless they completely change their audience from, price point. Because at the moment, Jags are unattainable for a lot of people out there, right? So I think I've read somewhere that they want to take the price band and move upwards towards like luxury cars, like Bentleys, Rolls Royces. And nothing tells you that that's what they're going to do, like changing the logo like they have. So I'll show you the old logo. Now, as a I like the old Jaguar logo, right? I don't know if it's the green in it or the actual Jaguar on it. I just like it. I think it's nice. They updated it a few years ago to have like an all silver chrome effect on both the word Jaguar and the animal Jaguar. So for the audio listeners, I'll describe it the best I can. But if you do fancy like just getting a bit of a visual stimulation for this, type in your browser of your choice. Don't have to just be Chrome or Safari. For the 5 Edge users out there, you can use that. That's fine. Just type in Jaguar old logo, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So that's the old logo, the old logo, and the now old logo, which was revamped a few years ago. Now let me just show you the new one. This is the new logo. If I pop it on screen, make it big enough so you can see it. It's not a lot to see, to be honest. That's the new logo. So notice the distinct lack of the animal, which for me was the most interesting part of the Jaguar logo. Visually, what's changed is the word Jaguar has now got postcode size gaps between each character. So the word Jaguar now probably stretches across, if you were going to put it on a rear bumper, it probably takes up the entire gap between the brake lights. I'm just completely making out. I'm just basically being dramatic in this and saying that they've left overly large gaps between each of the characters. I already don't like that. I think it just looks like it's trying to fill up space for the sake of filling up space because there's fuck all else on the logo. I hate it. I really dislike it. It doesn't scream luxury to me. I know the letters are gold coloured. Gold is synonymous with being linked to luxury goods such as jewellery. But where's the fucking Jaguar, man? Like, what's going on? Why have you decided to completely rip the animal away from the brand? The Jaguar has been synonymous with the brand Jaguar because it's named after the Jaguar. That just makes it more synonymous for me. And there will be people out there, and I hear it, I get it, we say it a lot, I say it a lot, that this may have well just been one of those choices that they make to get eyes on it, people talking about it, even if it's negative. Any publicity is good publicity, blah, blah, blah. It might be that situation. It may well be. But I think this looks like a total shit show. To the point where if you turn up with a Jag, which, by the way, I will just reiterate, there's no new car. They're not even making a car currently, right? So you won't see this anytime soon. You're not going to be seeing a Jag roll past with this new revamped logo. What's ironic about this is they've probably paid hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds for the logo design and to have it implemented in print media, adverts, all that shit. And they've actually got if we take it, and I know this is not what you're meant to do with art, right? There's another art story we'll talk about, a bit of a theme today. But what they've actually done, the artist here, is taken something, the animal and the word Jaguar, and they've subtracted the animal, so straight away they've cut themselves out of a decent amount of work there. Genius. So, well, I'm not really specialised in drawing big cats, so I think we should just do away with the big cat, and I'll just write the word Jaguar. I'll just draw it and see what you think. Do a couple of revisions, They've probably got someone on Fiverr to do it, in which case they probably haven't spent that much money. I don't know, but you'd like to think that Jaguar have probably got someone in-house, at least, to do some drafts. I feel like this is a draft that I'd be surprised if this wasn't the first draft and they just went with it. But anyway, basically, the designer for this has had a great fucking time because he's got to now do half the work for probably much more pay than the original or the old logo designer got. It's weird. Less sometimes isn't more. I would argue literally less is always less than more. Bit literal, I know. But that is the new logo of Jaguar. It just doesn't do anything for me at all. As a brand, like I said, I'm not engaged with Jaguar. I don't buy into Jaguar. I did have a Range Rover, but that wasn't my choice. It was for a business, and it was utter shite. And I would never, ever, ever touch a Range Rover again. Jaguar and Range Rover are basically under the same umbrella. Both kind of luxury-ish brands. But now Jaguar apparently is going to be going towards like the Bentley, Rolls-Royce. And I'm sorry, right? If I had that much money and I'm looking at buying a Bentley, a Rolls-Royce, something like that, and then someone says, oh, have you thought about buying a Jaguar? And then in rolls this fucking Jaguar with that logo on it, and I'm like, if it costs 200 grand less, I'll consider it. But at that point, you've probably got that much money to just drop on a Rolls Royce or a Bentley that you're just like, why would I buy the Jag? So the only thing that they can do, in my opinion, is just absolutely smash Bentley and Rolls Royce pricing. The only thing that they can do, for me, is to make themselves, on purpose, more expensive than Rolls-Royce and Bentleys, on the whole. They might have a strategy that I'm not aware of. I'm not a marketing genius, clearly. Because I would never dream of coming up with this sort of logo. This is, dreamt up in the mind of fucking mental patients. Anyway. So I'll show you a bit of more visionary visuals from their ad campaign. So they've gone for the slogan. I think they were going for, let's have a look. I want to get it right because it's important. It's their new logo. Copy nothing is one of the things they say. Copy nothing. So they're going for originality. And in the originality, they've got rid of probably one of the most iconic, original bits of artwork that they've ever had, synonymous with the brand and identifiable immediately. They just got rid of that. So, copy nothing. At least they stuck to their motto there. Except they kept the name Jaguar. So they copied some things. Anyway, here's this is their website. This is the sort of vision they're going for. I don't know what this thing is at the top here. This looks like a sort of rear view or quadrant of a car. As far as I'm aware, that car doesn't exist. You can't buy that car. It's not in production. So I'm guessing it's a concept. And a concept of a quadrant of a car, I don't think it's going to really do it, you know. You got some old geezer in a what can only be described as a red trench coat with just the most leery suit I've ever seen in my life. He's painting lines across a wall. Very bold, very good. You got here a person in a flowy dress, just waving her arms with the word Jaguar in front of her. And then this one's my favourite, right? Because nothing says this is who we're catering to more than this photograph here. So you've got all the races you could possibly imagine. Great, multiculturalism, let's go. You got old people, you got young people, Asians, African Americans, black people in general. You got people who are dressing in weird and wonderful colours and clothes on a very Larry pink background. It's all very, very Gen Z, very, very modern. But they're not. Maybe the guy on the left is possibly a current Jag driver. Not looking like that. He's not at the golf course in his golfing gear, so it's not realistic. But if they're changing the price of Jaguars from, I would say, overly expensive for what quality you get now to upping the price massively, this is not going to be your demographic. You are not going to have this demographic, right? So I feel like this entire marketing campaign is just, let's be different by throwing as many different colours together and just saying shit like a symbol of change and copy nothing. All these bullshit remarks that are just PR marketing bullshit. Like, in all honesty, right, do you expect any of these people in this photograph to buy a car? None of them are going to drive. None of them. There might be one or two cyclists in there, but they're going to use public transport, Ubers. Some of them might even still use taxis. That's fucking ancient, that. But the one that really stands out to me is the one in the front, when you can't really miss him. One at the front with a slap head. Now look, I'm not being offensive. I'm just saying. But this guy, they've obviously made him look this way. I'd imagine they haven't just rocked up to the photo shoot looking like this. If they have, fucking hell, absolute dream for the costume designer. He ain't got to do shit. It almost looks like he's got Vaseline on his entire head. Everything's just so shiny. And just to the point where it's almost offensively shiny. There's latex everywhere. There's gloves. There's fucking shoulder pads. There's a corset. It's just, I don't know. It just looks weird. And it doesn't really tell me anything about the brand other than, oh, they're just going to be pulling this shit. It's just a weird rebrand, and I don't like it. I don't like the logo, which is the main thing about the rebrand that I don't like. Look, they might absolutely smash it. And I might be just talking absolute shit. I'm not an expert on any of these things. I'm just telling you what I think of the rebrand. And that logo is just not the one. It's not the one. What is this? Is this another logo? Okay, right. I found another logo, which I didn't even realise. I'm assuming this is linked. Apparently this is another logo that they're going to be using. I don't really understand what the two... There's one J and one upside down J. Is that meant to be a G? I'm unsure. I don't know what that is. But this photo, that is, as far as I'm aware, of a Jaguar. And when I say photo, it's a design. I'm just saying the photograph is on the website. I'm not saying they've just took a picture of a fucking Jaguar in the wild or in a zoo and just lobbed it on this article. But yeah, use that. If they use that and just pulled the word Jaguar together and still did the rebrand, I feel like that would have been perfectly acceptable and people wouldn't be losing their minds about how shit it looks. But the reality is the vast majority of people are not going to buy a Jaguar. Even more so now. So they're going to go for the luxury market. And I just don't see why you buy a Jaguar over other luxury brands that have been there for far, far longer and are more synonymous. If anything, they're trying to break into a market which actively avoids changing their brand. Like Rolls-Royce. You don't see Rolls-Royce adverts because they don't need to advertise. All they need to do is rock up to every other fucking yacht show and someone who's interested in buying a yacht like several, like tens of millions of pounds, then stumbles across a big ticket item that costs a fraction of that. And it's almost like, well, instead of buying myself a £50 million yacht, I'll buy myself a £1 million, £500,000 Rolls Royce or Bentley. Seems like it's an easier sell, isn't it? But I don't ever see there a scenario where the people who, let's face it, the most well off in society right now are the same people, same age bracket, same demographic as that Jaguar have already been branded towards. And now they're going to a more young, hip, vibrant audience who don't have the wealth but are still making their brand the top price point. Strange decision. But anyway, enough about that. I just want to talk about how shit that was, and that was something that I looked at the last couple of days, and there's so many companies that rebrand and it just ends up being shit. Like, there are decisions that are made at the levels, high up in the company, and they say, right, we're committing to this, let's do it, we're not getting enough sales. It's like, why would you change the one thing that separated you from the crowd? Because it wasn't the quality of the vehicles, right? It wasn't the price point. It wasn't the build quality. They weren't leaders in class in any of those things. But the heritage and the history synonymous with the brand and the logo was the one thing that they probably were still held in decent regard. But they decided to throw that shit away and redesign the Jaguar logo without the fucking Jaguar on it. That's just the bottom line, really. It is. I can't really say anything else. Anyway, we'll move on to another art-based situation or story. I mean, fucking hell, this one is a doozy. Oh my, I have mad respect for the person who did this, because it's just a hit and run on people who have more money than fucking sense. It might be a fucking strategy to invest in something, and there's a big thing at the moment with people who invest in art as a way to basically not have to pay certain taxes. So fair, that's it. I don't know too much about it, but that's the rumor on the street. Not that I am on the street very often. I actively try and stay off it, because I live in a place where you don't really want to be on the street for too long. Just keep safe. Anyone out in Great Yarmouth, keep safe. Keep yourself safe. Anyway, this story. Banana duct tape to a wall sells for $6.2 million at auction. And before everyone's like, well, is it a painted piece of art? Is it, what is it, a watercolor? Is it, 3D printed at least? Nah, it's a banana duct tape to a wall. And in fairness, right, whoever did the job of duct taping that banana to the wall has done a fantastic job. For the audio listeners, there is not one single air bubble that I can see in contact with the wall or on the banana itself. That is like masterful performance in terms of duct taping. I wonder how many people have been gagged, tied, duct taped for this artist to really nail down this level of accuracy in terms of the limiting the amount of air bubbles trapped underneath that duct tape. It's fantastic. It really is. The controversial art piece called Comedian has been bought by a prominent cryptocurrency entrepreneur. After laying out millions, he says he's going to eat the banana. That is currently, as of the 21st of November, which was when the story came out, that is the most expensive banana I've ever heard about. A banana duct taped to a wall has sold for $6.2 million or £4.9 million at an auction in New York. The conceptual art piece called Comedian became a viral sensation after Italian artist Maurizio, I'll go for Maurizio, Catalan, debuted it at Art Basel Miami Beach in 2019. 2019. It can't be the same banana then. Let's be honest, it's a fake banana. Conspiracy. Festival goers tried to make out whether the single piece of fruit stuck to the white wall with silver duct tape was a joke or cheeky commentary on a questionable standards among art collectors. The Sotheby's auction house said it was the announcement of a new original work by the prominent and proactive artist Catalan that initially captured the world's attention, but Comedian quickly erupted into a viral global sensation that drew record crowds, social media inundation. I don't know what that word is. Landed the cover of the New York Post and divided viewers and critics alike. Probably because it was just a banana on a wall. I mean, when I think of art, I think of the Sistine Chapel or Michelangelo, fucking. Who was the geezer who chopped his ear off? I nearly said Roald Dahl, and that's not him because he's an author. He was an author. What was his? Vincent van Gogh. You think of those sort of people, artists. Don't necessarily think of fruit duct taped to a wall. So he has done the old bait and switch there fairly well. At one point, someone even took the banana off the wall and ate it. Oh, so someone's consumed the art already. So this geezer, whoever he is, this cryptocurrency entrepreneur, right, has been done over big time here. So the $6.2 million piece of art has already been consumed, and this guy has said that the first thing he's going to do after purchasing the $6.2 million banana is eat the banana that no longer is the original 2019 art piece. I think you've been done over there, mate. I really do. Now, Justin's son, former founder of cryptocurrency platform Tron, has paid $6.2 million at an auction for a certificate of authenticity that gives him the authority to duct tape a banana to a wall and call it Comedian. What? So he hasn't even really bought the art piece. He's just bought the right or the certificate of authenticity for the authority to duct tape a banana to a wall and call it Comedian. What? Why? Mr. Sun said comedian represents a cultural phenomenon that bridges the worlds of art, memes, and the cryptocurrency community. I mean, it's funny because it's not art, but then it gets taken as seriously as art by a lot of people who basically are sycophants and fickle as fuck, and anything that's popular or looks like it's on the rise suddenly becomes the best thing since sliced bread, right? That is the art community in a whole. And when I say the art community, I mean people who go to art museums and stand there and look at an image, look at a painting, and come up with these elaborate and fucking dim-witted stories around why someone painted it or what it means to them. This is the same sort of crowd who would be taken in by the fact there's a banana duct taped to a wall and has suddenly become art. But beforehand, before it started to become popular, they would have thought, oh, this is a disgrace to art. But now more people are saying, you know, oh, it represents the emptiness of artistry nowadays. And it's like, oh yeah, you're actually right. And the fact that it's valued at $6.2 million has got nothing to do with my interest in it. I don't know. If you like art, fine art, wherever it may be, it's not an attack. I'm just saying. But the latest version won't last long because he's going to eat it. Latest version. So this is blowing my mind. The guy hasn't even paid really for the art. He's just paid for the right to be able to duct tape a piece of fruit to a wall and call it the name comedian. It's the most expensive label I've ever heard of in my life. Additionally, in the coming days, I will personally eat the banana as part of the unique artistic experience, honouring its place in both art history and popular culture, Mr. Sun said. I don't think that's what it will do, mate. The Sotheby's auction saw bidding start at $800,000, an increase to multi-millions within minutes, with the auctioneer joking, "Don't let it slip away." I don't like that joke. It's not very good. You could have been, you know, trying to think of a better joke on the fly, and maybe I should give the auctioneer a bit more respect there because I'm coming up with fuck all. Don't let it slip away. You could be, you could be reacting to the price. This is, I'm absolutely hammering this home and, butchering it to a certain degree and, hammering home the pun. So I do apologise in advance if you are a bit disgusted at this. But you could have been like, oh, the bidding started at £800,000 and within a minute it was in multi-millions. That's bananas. I'm here all week. Lucius Elliott, head of contemporary marquee sales at the Sotheby's, said there has been much debate over whether this is art, whether it is a prank, whether it is a symbol of the excess of the art market. In truth, it is, of course, all those things, he concluded. So, as usual, gives a semi smart answer, then just goes, basically, it is all of those things because it can be anything to anyone. And that's art. Whether you like it or not, that's art. Strange fucking story, that. Really is. You've got to be, one, out of your fucking mind to buy a banana. Well, you can say that. You've either got to be one, out of your mind and so wanting to be relevant, which is fair enough. You got the money to do it, you fucking do it. Or you have that much expendable income or backing to just throw the best part of $7 million at a banana on a wall. Not even for the banana on the wall. Just for the right to be able to duct tape a banana to the wall and then call it comedian, which of course, as you can probably tell from my tone of voice, if you could stop yourself laughing at the joke, is fucking hilarious. To call a banana art piece comedian is absolutely 100% the most meta thing I've ever heard in my life. Bidding starts at 800 grand. Fuck me. Fuck me. I'll be excited to see the next rendition or edition of the art that, gets plastered on a wall. I mean, I've seen, like, the people that did the Extinction Rebellion? Yeah. You know those people who basically put fucking orange paint everywhere in, like, art galleries and that? That's the sort of shit that I really feel is probably on the same level. Like, someone just goes up to a painting that's been, in the museum for fucking decades, maybe in hundreds of years, right? And then some dickhead with, a fucking money off at B&Q on the fucking Dulux orange paint range. It's just gone in there and fucking absolutely just caned it in orange paint. That's art. That's art. It represents the struggle. It represents the disdain for fine art. Which to a certain degree I share. I'm not disdain, I just don't. It's not my thing. It's not my thing. I'd rather go to a museum and see some cool fucking animation about some fucking dinosaur absolutely just ripping it up. I can't remember what museum it was. Just going completely off tangent here because, I probably won't do the next story because we haven't got that much time. But I can't remember what museum it was or what. Maybe it was just like an experience thing. But it was several years ago. It was probably like 2018. I think it was about 2018. And VR hadn't really taken off in my mind as big as it is now. But I don't know where it was. I don't know what the museum was, but it was an exhibition of some description. And I saw people wearing these VR headsets, and they were only allowed to be in like a cordoned off area, very small. You could only walk like 2 or 3 steps either side. And it was an experience about seeing what would be in your eyes life-size, I want to say T-Rex. Obviously some sort of program or kind of experience or game that was in this headset. And I didn't want to do it because I felt at the time that if there was a time for me to be suddenly motion sick, vomit, basically fall over, destroy the entire fucking exhibition, it was going to be then. Because that's the worst scenario that runs through my mind, Oh, if I put this headset on, even though I've never had motion sickness in any other, part of my life, this is going to be the one time that I do get it. So I didn't do it. But you could see on the screen what the person who had the headset on was looking at, and it looked quite cool. I did like it. Again, I got no fucking idea where that was or what museum it was. It was definitely a museum of some description. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, fine art is just not my bag. I would sit there for a maximum of like 2 or 3 minutes taking in a painting and be like, right, time to move on. It's just not something I particularly like or have interest in. If it was musical, like if there was like some interactive musical component, or if I'm going around like a music museum, I'll probably be there for hours on end. Anything space related, I'll probably be absolutely 100% down for. But it's just the fine art's just not my bag. Like, it's just, I don't know if it's the pretentiousness of people that are associated with fine art that I don't like, but just the elitism about it just fucks me off. Plus, it just doesn't stimulate me. Like, I'm looking at a painting of a fucking, like, Mona Lisa. If I went to go and see Mona Lisa, I'd be like, I've wasted a lot of money to come here and see this exhibition. And if I'm honest, it looks a bit shit. It just doesn't do anything for me. Doesn't do it. Much like the new Jaguar logo, which I'm sure as a joke, or as maybe they're serious, they'll put it in some sort of fucking exhibition. I wonder how many times I've said the word exhibition. Don't know why I burped there. ADHD kicking in. That's what we want. But yeah, strange. If you've got a cool 6.2 mil just, sitting around, go buy a banana or any fruit that's taped to a wall. Buy the certificate of authenticity for calling it whatever you want to call it. Business idea, bang, you're in. You got it, 100%. You fucking nailed life. Set for life. Apart from the fact you now have paid, the best part of 7 mil for a fucking banana. It is what it is. I'm sure he can afford it. I'm sure we'd all love to afford that. I would. I don't even buy fruit now. I mean, look at me. I barely buy any fucking veg. No, look, I buy some veg. Shut the fuck up, alright? Just, no. Look. I'm going to try and be good this Christmas, alright? I tried last Christmas, and the Yule log got me. It did. It happens most Christmases, to be fair. But this Christmas, I'll try and stay strong. I don't know if I've got it in me, though. Because if I have to go Christmas shopping, to be fair, I have done most of my Christmas shopping in advance, which I do try and normally do. But I can't be doing Christmas shopping. We've gone full circle. Started off with Christmas shopping, and we're coming back to it, because it's important. It is important. If you're female and you're trying to get anyone in your family or your other half, your boyfriend, whatever you call them, because, it's 2024. There's a lot of words that can possibly be associated with that. Just don't ask. Just go yourself. He will appreciate it much more if you don't include him in that plan. And I would say 90% of plans that you think of in your head, don't include him in it. He will be happier for you not to ask him to go shopping. 100%. I've never been more right. I've said it before and I'll say it again. But yeah, thank you everyone for listening and watching. I really do appreciate it. Big shout out to all the members, some of which have been members for over 2 years. Insanity. That means they have put themselves through this sort of performance extra times, because I do a VIP episode or a members episode every 2 weeks. $4.99 they pay for that, which I want to say, you're absolute legends. This is a quick plug. If you do fancy, like, lobbing us another $4.99 every month, you get 2 extra podcasts, VIP podcasts. We talk about all sorts of things, gaming. Last one I talked about how Amazon Black Friday deals were actually a bit of a piss take and borderline, just basically robbing you. The previous episode to that, we talked about the new Beyonce, wasn't scholarship, that's not the right word, course you could do at university in America. And then the one previous to that was about the Conquer champion who was accused of cheating. Absolute top tier drama. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. But yeah, if you do fancy that, $4.99 a month, you get your 2 extra episodes. a month with yours truly. I've done 54 episodes now of the VIP podcast, so if you do join, you've got a shit ton of VIP episodes to get through. I don't actually know when was the first one that I did. It would have been probably not too long after we swapped or switched from doing the studio to the live stream or the home versions of the podcast. But anyway, it's there in abundance if you fancy it. And just lastly, everyone who's been a member up until now, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Also appreciate you watching and listening. I hope you're having a good day wherever you are and whatever you're doing, and I hope it continues. I hope Christmas is good for everyone. It's my personal favourite holiday of the year, and in all seriousness, I wouldn't want anyone to have a bad Christmas. So just have a fucking good Christmas, all right? Don't overdo it on the booze. Unless you got some family that you'd really rather not be around, then booze is the only option. Well, it's not the only option. There are other things, but I can't really say what those other things necessarily might be on a podcast on YouTube, because they'll freak out and say I'm trying to get people to take substances that they probably shouldn't be taking. But it's Christmas. Treat yourself. Treat yourself. All right? I don't know if any dealers are doing any deals at Christmas. Do they do Black Friday deals? Do they do Cyber Monday deals? They might do. Ask your local one on the street corner. As, typically they would be standing just on the street corner, just handing out baggies. Do you know what I mean? I've already probably risked too much now talking about substances. Just enjoy your Christmas, all right? Have the fucking turkey, have the gammon, have whatever you have. Some people have weird stuff at Christmas like nut roasts. Get fucked. Just for one day, don't be vegan. It's easy. Like, everyone around you is still going to be eating the same shit. And you're just going to be sat there with a nut roast on your own. That's not Christmassy. That's what you do every other day of your life. Be different. Be bold. Copy nothing. Be more Jaguar. Rebrand yourself for a day. Eat meat. Add some cranberry sauce. Eat the duck fat or goose fat potatoes, roast potatoes. Just do it. Have butter. Have a day off from misery. You'll be better for it. Trust me, you'll be better for it, 100%. Anyway, that's my rant on vegans. Done. All right. If you are vegan, just do what you want. I don't give a fuck. Just have a good Christmas. Hope you all do have a good Christmas. And we'll see you in the next one. Up the APMA. Bye-bye for now.